Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or the Try F podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. Today we're talking about parasites and fungus. They're kind of synonymous. I think we're going to focus mainly on parasites, what they do, who they are, what they're connected to, how to get rid of them. So if we make it through all this stuff, it'll be a good episode.
Sweet.
Gary, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm actually in a good mood today. I'm feeling on
Good, me
cloud
too.
nine. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, so we've got a movie or video coming up here.
Yeah, it's pretty long, so I think I don't know how. It just depends on how interesting it is, I guess. I watched it
Okay.
earlier, but if you start at like 3 minutes, they kind of have some technical difficulties.
Start at 3 minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
You gotta love technical difficulties. You
yeah.
have to
I
empathize.
mean, it's kind of an old video. It's like in a library and shit.
Yeah. All right.
But now experts in the field think they're
Okay. So this is good. We're at
Yeah.
3:33. Okay.
Sure.
much,
Illuminati
much
confirmed.
more
Illuminati confirmed.
common than realized. And these organisms typically invade an animal, and they can do all kinds of things. For example, they can tinker with the neurocircuits of their host. Sometimes they change the hormone levels or levels of neurochemicals. They've got a whole bunch of different tactics that allow them to basically make the host behave the way they want it to. And then the second part of my book, I look at the flip side to this, which is how humans and other animals protect themselves from parasites. And we have evolved a complex series of behavioral adaptations that kick in the moment we feel like we're at threat of becoming sick. And just a few examples would be, for example, if an animal is injured, like cat.
I prefer to say that we were designed with defenses against such creatures, but designed, evolved. We don't need to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, evolved is kind of a better term because it goes based off of location. Like if you go to Africa, there's different parasites over there that are going to attack you, right? So
Well, yeah, that'll be
It is-
adaptation.
it is-
but adaptation's a design feature.
okay,
Yeah,
semantics.
yeah.
But
Or primates and so on. One of the things they'll do is they will lick their wound. And the reason they do that is because saliva is rich in antimicrobial compounds. And animals across nature almost routinely shun their feces. We are not alone. Feces are, filled with all kinds of nasty pathogens that could harm us. And similarly, animals shun their feces. So these are some of the kinds of behaviors we'll be talking about tonight.
Apparently, she's never seen a pig or a cow or any sort of barnyard animal.
did she say sun?
They shun their feces.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you got to think about which animals have more parasites, though.
Pigs, I thought, were pretty notorious for having parasites.
Yeah, they have tons of them.
That's what I thought. So they roll in their own crap all the time.
Right. You
Maybe
said
because of
shun. Shun is get rid of.
Well, I thought shun would mean stay away, like stay away from. Like cows and pigs will like roll in their own crap.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a long video, so I don't know if we'll get through it, but I mean, it does talk about how parasites will affect the animal's mind to breed more parasites, right? So, like pigs being so infected with parasites, like their brains are wired by the parasites
to roll in
in the shit so that they
I
make more
see,
parasites.
I see.
you know?
I see. That's interesting.
So kind of like she talks about, it's at like 5:50, I think she starts talking about the cat. I lost it.
Oh, the cat one. All right.
Yeah,
so,
where the rats seek out the cat.
Gotcha. That's at
But at
5:50.
5:50.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting topics to write about. I came across an article about a parasite, a one-celled protozoan that invades the brain of rats,
Toxoplasmosis,
and
that's what
it
it's called.
turns.
Toxoplasmosis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe Rogan has talked about it a few times.
Gotcha.
Its innate fear of cats into an attraction. And when I say attraction, I mean sexual attraction. The rodents become sexually aroused by the scent of cat urine.
That's a very bad thing for a mouse to be.
Yes. And what I learned is, needless to say, that the rat soon ends up in the belly of a cat, which of course is very convenient for the cat. But I was also stunned to learn it was very convenient for the parasite, because the feline gut is the only place where this parasite can sexually reproduce.
That's crazy.
And when I continued reading,
I wonder why. Like, why the feline gut?
I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I learned that about 30% of people around the world have this parasite in their brains. The vast majority of them completely ignorant of the fact. And that some scientists were concerned that it might actually be altering our behavior too. So I called up a neuroscientist at Stanford who was mentioned in the article, and I asked him about this. And he said, I think there could be something to this, and you really should speak to this scientist in Prague, a biologist. Give him a call. He's a bit of a wild man, but I think it will be worth your time to talk to. This is Jaroslav Flager.
He looks like a wild man.
Yeah. And when I talked to Jaroslav, he proceeded to tell me, I think, the single wildest story I have ever heard over the span of my career. He told me that he has this parasite in his brain, and that he's convinced it's the reason he has a sort of a reckless streak about him. And I said, well, what makes you think this? How did you come to this conclusion? Thinking, he's got to be.
Are we sure that's a cat parasite? My money is between a demon or a bolt of lightning. I'm not sure.
Well, I kind of think that all parasites are demons.
I think there's a Jewish theory about that.
Is there?
I think so. Like, there was an ancient, maybe it's not Jewish, but there was an ancient idea that, like, what we would call bacteria and parasites today were considered demons.
Yeah.
Way back
See,
when.
I kind of think, like, getting into the demonology, and there's like hierarchies of demons. It's like you have single-celled protozoans, and you have complex organisms, and then you have like the big parasites. Like there's a hierarchy structure within parasites themselves, just like there is in the demon realm.
Well, there's a hierarchy in most things.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of think like the toxoplasmosis parasite could be like a specific, like the lust demon, for example. Like they clearly show that within rats because it's sexually attracted to the smell of cat urine. So it's like, if we have that, is it still a lust demon? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I guess, are you lusting after cats?
I'm not lusting after cats currently, no.
Just in case the cats need to stay in the road where they belong, as Brad Stein said. So,
but yeah, I think there could be a hierarchy. I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
well, I think the hierarchy could also be explained by a designer. Like, lots of things have hierarchies in nature. So
the designer of the parasites
of the universe, like bees have a hierarchy. We kind of have a hierarchy. Lions have a hierarchy.
Yeah.
It depends on what you mean by hierarchy. Like, the thing about a lot of this stuff, though. Like,
well,
I'm
I'm talking about like you have like demons that are in control of other demons. Like we went through this whole thing.
Yeah. Like a ranking system, like a tier system.
A ranking system.
A lot of things have that. I just, I don't know if the ranking system is enough to say that they're like I guess let me ask you this: Are you saying that demons and parasites are the same thing, or are they running parallel with each other?
No, I think they're the same thing.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with you there, but we can keep watching if you want. So, I mean, there might be a cat demon. So, I don't know. Let's see. Come
Be a
on.
real kook. And he told me how he had, for years, since his early 20s, he just noticed that he was very strange. Like he would walk out into the middle of dense traffic, and if a car honked on him, he wouldn't jump out of the way. At the time, Czechoslovakia was under Soviet domination. He made no effort to disguise his hatred of the regime. He said, I don't even know how I didn't end up in jail. And something else that really concerned him was once on a visit to Turkey, he got caught in the middle of a gun battle between the Turks and the Turkish government and the Kurds. And he immediately took cover, but as bullets were whistling overhead, he kept thinking, why am I not afraid? What is wrong with me? So move forward a decade or so, and I think it was around in his early 40s.
Could it be that you lived in Soviet Europe? Like maybe you had a death wish?
Just a little desensitized.
Yeah, it's like, I think that's called being dead inside, sir. So,
Yeah, could be.
good night.
A colleague,
Tell you one thing, though. This dude needs to eat. You can see his skull. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he lives in Soviet Russia.
oh, there you go. Yeah, that would
There
do
you
it.
go.
Breadlines, they are a good thing. But anyway.
asked him if he would participate in a clinical trial because he was having trouble rounding up enough subjects. And this colleague was trying to develop an improved test for Toxoplasma gondii, which is the name of this parasite I just told you about. So Yaroslav agreed to participate, and he shortly found out that indeed he had the parasite. He had heard a little bit about parasitic manipulators, in fact, from your boss, Richard Dawkins, a famous evolutionary biologist, because a decade or two earlier,
I would consider anything that man says suspect, just so you know. So,
Which is fair.
yeah.
Dawkins had briefly mentioned parasitic manipulators in one of his books, and it made a huge impression on Yaroslav. So he thought, when he found out that he had this parasite, he thought, maybe this parasite is manipulating my brain too. And then he did a lot of reading, and he discovered that, how the parasite, there were signs that maybe it might be manipulating cats. So he launched some of the first studies of humans. And he found lots of strange differences between people who were infected and people who weren't. So people who were infected had slightly slower reaction times. They were a little bit more easily distracted. He conducted some studies and discovered that they were more likely to be in car accidents, like about 2.7 times more likely to be in car accidents.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and then a few other groups have since reproduced that finding. Groups in other countries, they've also found that people who test positive for the parasite are more likely to be in car crashes. And then,
Can I say that's probably because of nutrient deprivation? Because
Well, yeah, probably,
it's
but
like,
I mean
it
that's
doesn't
still
mean they're manipulating your brain. It means they're eating your food, so you're tired. It's not the same thing as
yeah.
hacking your brain. It's like, well, of course your response time is slower. You're dying.
Sure.
Congratulations.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like,
Yeah, I'll give you that.
yeah.
both Yaroslav and other groups have also connected the parasite to a number of mental disorders. So, for example, people who test positive for the parasite are at slightly increased risk of suffering from schizophrenia or having bipolar disorder. They're also at increased risk of committing suicide or attempting to.
Sorry. Now, here's an interesting idea. What if it is parasites and nutrient deprivation that's causing things like mental disorders? Because the chemical brain theory is kind of going out the window as time goes on. Like, I think we still, believe in like dopamine and stuff, but it's been proven here recently.
Well, they don't measure it. If you go to a psychiatrist and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I need help. I'm depressed, blah blah blah."
Yeah,
They don't measure your brain chemicals to give you before they give you medication. They just give you medication.
right. And those medications have been proven to not work. Like that was the state. Yeah, that whole theory has been proven to be garbage. So I mean, I think there is some merit
Lilly,
to
is
it.
that guy's name?
I don't know the guy's
It was
name.
Eli Lilly that got that chemical imbalance bullshit pushed in the 80s.
Was that him? Okay. I know Michael Knowles. I was listening to Michael Knowles, and he said that there's a study that came out recently that refuted all that chemical imbalance garbage.
Good.
But
Jerry Marzinski's getting the word out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think what's interesting is there has to be some truth to it because, like, meth withdrawal and schizophrenia are very similar in terms of their symptoms, and it's because meth essentially like floods the brain of dopamine, of a artificial version of dopamine, and your brain quits making it. So it's a very extreme version of that. But to sit there and like the full scope of what they were talking about with the chemical balance theory was crap. Like I guess maybe specifically the link to depression or whatever, perhaps. But I'd have to read the study. I don't remember exactly what was said. I just know there has to be something to it because it is kind of tied to like why drugs are so bad, because they mess with your brain chemistry on that level. Like they artificially flood it, and that's what.
I think a lot of what we're calling brain chemistry comes from the gut, though. Like your gut is your mind.
I keep hearing that. I don't know to what extent that's true, and I don't.
Like,
know.
dude, if I eat a big giant bowl of ice cream and then get on this podcast, I'll be worthless. Facts. I'll just be like, I don't know.
Be lethargic and full of brain fog. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it has a lot to do with toxins, though. Like our body is not processing the toxins and stuff, like all the fake crap.
But the more toxins are in your body, the more hospitable it is for a foreign entity to live in.
Mm-hmm. That's true, like weakened immune system and stuff.
Yeah. And then they start telling you that you want sugar, and then your decisions are based on the parasites' decisions. Like if you want, like, do I want ice cream or do I want a steak?
Yeah.
Like your intrusive thoughts, for lack of a better word, are going to be like ice cream, bruh. Mm-hmm. And that's parasites. That you're letting your parasites make your decisions.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say on that, like I don't disagree with you, but when I was dieting and lost a bunch of weight, one of the things I did learn was a lot of times your brain will trick you into thinking that you want a particular food when it's really wanting like a macro. So, for example, if you're like craving pizza really bad, you might not need pizza, but you'll need like a carb,
Sure.
So like some bread or, vegetable or, whatever, something with carbs in it. That'll actually curtail the food craving if you actually give the macro that your body needs. So rather than like eating the specific food. So that was something that I learned that helped me with my issues.
Yeah. But the deceiver tells you that you want something else.
Well, in this case, the deceiver is the FDA, who flooded it with a bunch of chemicals to get you addicted. But anyway, so
no doubt.
Kill themselves. There have been a few very well conducted studies in Europe where they've actually shown that that suicidal behavior increases in direct proportion to the prevalence of the parasite in different countries. I think that was a study involving about 22 or so countries. So the parasite has been, over the years and repeatedly, again and again, connected to various behavioral disturbances. However, I don't want to freak anybody out.
I was going to ask, who has cats? Can you teach proper kitty litter disposal procedure here? Because
keep them outside.
In fact, I didn't even really explain how this parasite gets into our brains. And one of the ways is changing a cat litter box. Other ways include gardening if you don't wash your hands properly afterwards, because the cats basically defecate the parasite, that they shed the eggs of this parasite in their feces.
And also, I mean, I know for pregnant women, they should avoid cat litter for that reason, because it could actually cause serious neurological damage to a child.
That's correct.
Baby.
That's correct. If a woman is exposed to the parasite during pregnancy, it doesn't matter if she was exposed before pregnancy, but if it actually occurs during pregnancy, the parasite can do damage to the baby's nervous system or even trigger a miscarriage. So there's a few ways you can get it. I mentioned, changing cat litter, gardening. If you don't really thoroughly scrub vegetables, there's still dirt particles on it. You can get it that way. Another way you can get the parasite, and in fact it may be a rather common way at that, is by eating undercooked lamb or beef. And the reason for that is because grazing cattle can pick up the eggs, and it then gets incorporated into their flesh, which of course is the meat that we eat. So those are some of the ways that this parasite ends up in our brain. For example, in France, 50% of people are infected with the parasite, and that's probably because they love their meat saignant, literally bleeding.
I saw one statistic where doctors checked.
That's why Jesus says not to eat blood.
Yeah, I hear blood's really quite
Stay away
dangerous.
from the demons. Parasites are demons.
There you go. So does the video talk about how to get rid of the crazy demons or parasites or whatever?
Not to an extent.
Because I see on the tab, it's like garlic vampires,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's all coming together. So
yeah, it's so I sent in the chat, there's a video of garlic versus parasites under a microscope. I've got like 5 of those different ones that we can look at. They're pretty interesting. So you know what's going on with your body when you ingest those things, because I think that's good information to have.
Okay. So is there anything in particular anything else you're wanting to watch on this video?
I didn't timestamp anything else, but there is some good stuff there at the end.
At the end, all right.
But I can't exactly say where. So we might just be screwed.
Okay, well, how about we go on to figuring out what happens when we eat garlic?
Okay, sure.
Fight the vampires.
Oh, let's plug that video though.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So this video is it's in a library, but it's a book exposition, and the book is by Kathleen McAuliffe called This is Your Brain on Parasites. I would highly recommend this book. That's just me.
There you go. And you got the YouTube video is titled Kathleen McAuliffe, McAulifffe. This is Your Brain on Parasites, how tiny creatures manipulate our behavior and end.
And
there's not even an ellipses there. What am I supposed to do with that? Anyway, so the YouTube channel is B&B Books and Books. So you can give that a whirl if you so desire. So let's see. All right, I'm going to have to readjust my window sizes here because these shorts are all off center.
Yep.
So give me a minute to do that. That ain't fair. It's just not fair.
No fear.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, the garlic is very funny, man. I mean, when it comes to like vampires and also iron. I believe they talk about iron. Okay. So, in Revelations it says Jesus will rule the world with an iron rod.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Well, I usually assume iron is associated with the weapons and stuff.
Well, parasites don't like iron, and vampires don't like iron.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Funny, right?
Yeah. Turtle Chief just wrote into the chat.
Oh, he did?
Yes, and he says, garlic is a fungus for bread.
Garlic is a fungus for bread? What does that mean?
I take it he's not a fan of garlic. So
that's because he's got parasites, evidently.
And here's the dad joke.
His parasites made him say that.
Yes, it was his parasites. And then he replies, this is our dad joke for the evening. Oh, the irony. And he also says we had garlic bread for dinner. So
Oh,
this
okay.
is just right on your
Nice.
mind. Illuminati
Based.
confirmed. So,
Yep.
all right, here we go. Let's watch this short.
All right.
Garlic extract versus human parasites under the microscope. What happens next is unbelievable. Watch closely. I'll be back at the end to explain how this can benefit your health.
Here we go.
As you can see, they're starting to die. Garlic proves once again how powerful it is against harmful threats. It also fights bacteria, viruses, inflammation, and even cancer. Add it to your diet in moderation and enjoy the benefits. Garlic extract versus
Nice.
Well, there you go. Garlic kills parasites.
Yes, sir.
Suck it, Dracula. All right.
What else do we have?
Okay, let's see. The next thing you brought up is something 100 times magnification. Vodka versus parasites. Well, vodka
We
kills
love
everything,
vodka.
so there we go.
Glug, 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 glug. This one might surprise you. Party time.
Ah,
Yep.
that makes sense. Vodka's sugar, isn't it?
Yep.
So that's why it does that.
Sure is.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like humans kind of do that when they have vodka too.
That's true.
Is
Is there a garlic flavored vodka?
there garlic flavored vodka? Huh.
That's
Interesting
That's your
concept.
solution right there.
Yeah. Garlic vodka. Then you won't get parasites from drinking.
There you go. We are not doctors. We are not doctors.
We're about to be, though.
Yeah.
World
We-
recognized.
Yeah, right.
We invented
Honorary PhD.
parasite-free vodka.
There we go. There you go, Elon. There's your next project.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, what's next here? We got salt versus parasites.
Be ye the salt of the earth.
All right.
Can salt really kill parasites? Let's dive into this fascinating reaction that's both natural and effective. Parasites, those tiny invaders, rely on moisture to survive. This is where salt comes into action. It's more powerful than you think. Salt absorbs moisture through a process called osmosis. It draws water out of the parasite's cells, dehydrating and ultimately killing them. As the water escapes, the parasites lose their structure and die. Salt's natural ability to dehydrate makes it an effective remedy in fighting these microscopic pests. This reaction isn't just for show. Salt is used in preserving food, cleaning, and even as a natural treatment for certain parasites in agriculture and aquaculture. Science meets everyday life. Follow for more fascinating wonders. Can salt really kill parasites?
And now you know why the Fed told you to quit eating salt.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know
No
the
doubt.
truth. It's all
Yep,
lies.
That's why they made table salt basically inedible.
Mm-hmm.
You got to buy that Himalayan salt and all that now.
Yeah, they also got rid of the iodine out of it, just to guarantee
Yep.
that you're an idiot.
Yep.
So you need to get iodine, folks, and I guess Himalayan salt.
Well, any kind of salt that's not regular table salt is,
Yeah.
I mean, better than. I mean, table salt's literally not edible. It's like garbage.
Yeah. You can't pickle with it. You can't do nothing with it, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Get that expensive stuff, make it last.
Mm-hmm. All right. Guess who wins? Sugar versus human parasites. Well, guys, the parasites are gonna win, but we'll see.
Did you know what happens when sugar is poured onto parasites? Let's explore this fascinating connection. Sugar isn't just a treat for us. It's a feast for parasites, too. Many types of parasites thrive in environments rich in sugar, as it gives them the energy they need to multiply and survive. When sugar enters the body, it can provide the perfect conditions for some parasites to grow, making it harder for the immune system to fight back. But here's the good news. Reducing sugar intake can help starve parasites and support a healthier body. So, the next time you reach for something sweet, remember, you're not just feeding yourself. Stay informed, stay healthy, and take charge of your sugar intake. Science meets everyday life. Follow for more fascinating wonders of science. Do like, comment, share, and subscribe. Did you know what happens when sugar is poured onto parasites?
Hey, shush.
Let's
I told you to stop.
Nice. Yeah, this guy's great.
Okay, so we got this guy, and then I think that's all the videos you sent. So let's see here.
Sweet.
Alrighty.
The relations between a carnivorous diet and mammalian infections with intestinal protozoa, 1924. They were feeding animals parasites that were live in cysts, and they measured their feces, and they sacrificed them for measuring inside the intestines. Data from the various sources described above seem to prove that a carnivorous diet is unfavorable for the intestinal protozoa of mammals. I've been saying this for 4 years now, that the carnivore diet is the absolute best diet when you're trying to get parasites out of your body with anti-parasitic medications or really good herbal supplements. That study I just showed you is 100 years old, and this is what I like to do: old and new clinical discoveries to improve your health so that you don't have to take drugs. The relations between
so that
a
one actually
carnivorous
surprised
diet-
me.
Oh, yeah? The meat one
Yeah.
helped?
But yeah, that you know, I figured like meat would be, parasites would like that in your stomach, but I guess not.
Well, it makes sense. Like, they would want carbs and starches and that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
they like sugar.
Yeah, like proteins and fats wouldn't be great for them, I wouldn't think. So,
I guess your body processes, your body knows what to do with that stuff, whereas it doesn't know what to do with sugar. So that's what the parasites eat.
yeah, it's all like used for, specific things. Like fats are slow burning, and protein builds up your body, and carbs are for like running, and like, you load up on that stuff when you've got things to do. So, if you eat in accordance with what you've got to do, then, you're generally better off. So, everything's got its purpose except parasites, apparently. So I'm sure they've got a purpose somewhere. I just don't know what it is. But anyway, hijacking wasps or something. So
I looked into that too. That was pretty crazy. I actually watched a guy pull parasites out of a wasp.
yeah, no, they're
Pretty
like
nuts.
the murder hornet thing. They pull the big like larvae, almost as large as the bug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the freakiest one was it? It's something to do with snails. Like they come out of the caterpillars or something. I don't
know. I didn't watch that one.
It's gross. It's
Yeah.
just, anyway.
Parasites are disgusting, and I hate them, and I want them all to die. Because they're demons.
Because they're demons. So is there anybody who talks about this idea of parasites and demons being the same thing?
I haven't found anybody that really links them together. But
Well, why do you think, other than the hierarchy thing, why do you think that they're the same?
because I've personally experienced when I eat bad things, I get worse thoughts. Like if you drink a bunch of chocolate milk before bed, you're going to have bad dreams. So I think they very much influence the parasites. When you feed them, they very much influence your thoughts. So, I mean, at least to me, they have when I've, observed.
I'm lactose intolerant, so I wouldn't know. But,
Right. But if like you eat a bunch of sugar and then go to sleep and see what happens. I mean, like you'll probably have worse dreams than you normally do.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have that experience. Like, I don't know. Food doesn't really affect my dreams all that much.
Yeah.
I'm just irritable if I go to bed hungry, I guess. So.
Well, is that you being irritable or is that your parasites?
Well, I'd ask the same thing about, like you're like, is it parasites or is it you, just in general?
Like I think when you get hangry, I think it's your parasites are angry. It's not you.
Ah.
This is like
That's
those
interesting.
angry thoughts. Those are intrusive thoughts, right? So where are they coming from?
Well, are your good thoughts parasites?
Are you what?
Are your good thoughts parasites?
I don't think so.
Or like, are we all driven by like bugs or something inside of us? So like cells.
I mean, I
or
think
whatever?
that's what I'm saying. Like the negative. I get more negative thoughts. Like that's the connection that parasites and demons have is they're both negative. You know, if I eat a lot of sugar, I get negative reactions. Demons are negative. So,
Well, I don't know if I agree. Oh, I don't agree with you, but that is interesting.
I definitely need to work on the theory and
Yeah.
connect more dots.
Yeah. Well, I think something to consider is I think a lot of what we are going through today is food companies. Basically, people distilling stuff and making concentrated versions of things. Like, you're not just getting a little sugar like from an apple or something when you eat like Fruit Loop. You're getting like a concentrated burst of that stuff that really your body isn't designed to handle. You know, a lot of this is just, it's all basically the food is designed to be addictive. And so they make it with brighter colors, with dyes that are petroleum based, which is RFK's working on banning. You know, they've got, basically stuff that makes it's more palatable. And it's just basically more palatable because it's concentrated with sugar and fats and things that your body can handle in the right amounts. But if it's all like super concentrated and stuff, then it's going to make a big difference. And, you know, that's going to make your parasites more active too if you got them. I mean, they're getting like steroid-infused sugar. So, you probably got roided up parasites in your bowels. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
And that is going to affect your mood. That's going to affect your blood sugar. That's going to affect, I don't know exactly the terminology. I'm not a doctor. But, if you've got low blood sugar and you're having to eat to kind of stay regular, let's say, then, your mood swings are going to be harsher and you're liable to have more bad thoughts and everything like that. So I would argue that a lot of this is due to the extremes, basically because of our processed food. So
Yeah, I would say that.
I think that.
And who does that?
The FDA, the CIA. It's all CIA.
And who are they?
Demons.
Okay. My point has been made.
Illuminati confirmed. All right, man. I think that covers subject 2. Do we want to go on?
Yeah.
Do we want to go on to Wes Hoff and Michael Knowles, or do we want to call it a night?
I mean, I don't even know what the name of that channel was that was talking about Wes Huff. So if you want to talk about the thing that you watched, that's cool, but I don't really have.
Well, I haven't watched it, so it'd be a live reaction if we did it.
Yeah.
I think.
Let's just do that.
Okay. All right. We can do it. So, actually, we need to end this episode. Boy, we're done.
Oh.
Yep.
That was a close one.
That was a close one. We almost.
All right.
I don't know what we would have done. All right.
That long ending, folks.
Yeah. Well, if you are still watching on the live stream, we've got one more segment left. If you are watching this after the fact, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Appreciate you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.